This type of exhibition shot is often overlooked because apart from a few rare exceptions, they tend to happen after the frame is over. But which of these was the best exhibition shot of the year? To find out, as usual, we're recreating all of the shots as accurately as possible and then playing them in the fewest possible attempts. And we're starting with Ronnie O'Sullivan in China, and like with a lot of these shots, the frame's already over, but that doesn't mean potting this pink and screwing back for the black is easy. Far from it, in fact. I'm going to have to cue this one really well to generate enough backspin to get anywhere near the black, and play it with a lot of power, and that's going to make the pot even harder. This is a difficult shot to start off with, and although I managed to fluke it there, I'm struggling to get close enough to actually pot it. This shot could be a real contender, and don't forget you get the chance to vote for the winner later on. And as I've just about managed to rattle in the pink and get roughly in position on the black, we can move on. Well, that was a tough start, but it doesn't exactly get any easier now, as we're onto a Judd trump shot where the pot may be straightforward, but we've got to navigate the cue ball all the way around the table, narrowly avoiding the pink. Not only have I got to avoid this, but I've also got to find a way to hit it hard enough, which isn't going to be exactly easy on my table. What I've discovered from my first attempt is power is going to be a problem. I haven't hit it anywhere near hard enough on my first go. My second goes a lot better, and I probably would have gotten the yellow had I got the line right. But I just need to find the line as well, and that means getting very close to this left corner pocket. I've got to judge the side spin perfectly here, and I'm just not quite putting enough right hand side on the cue ball at the moment, which means I keep hitting the pink. However, now I've just avoided it, I'm down on the yellow. I don't think I can hit it any harder though. It looks as though Hossein Vafaei's dropped out of position a little bit at the British Open, as he's landed on top of the green. But despite this, he still manages to pot the pink. Not only that, playing it with backspin and left-hand side to spin it around two cushions and remove the last red from the cushion. This is not only going to require a good pot, but I've got to control the spin here, and that's not going to be easy. And what I've discovered from my first two attempts is you can't simply play this with left hand side. You also need to stun it a little bit, and that just makes it a little bit harder to line the shot up and guess the right angle. And it means I'm struggling to pot the pink again, but I've finally got it, and now I'm getting really close to the red. I've just got to find a way of repeating that at the right line, and this is pretty good. I've not pushed it on the same way, but that's not bad. Next up is Zehuang, who looks far too close to the red to be able to pot it. But not only does he manage to cut it in the middle pocket, he plays it with so much power the white comes back flying across the table. This happens, and it's not obvious because it happens at so much speed, because he hits the middle jaw. So I'm trying to do that at the same time as pot the red. And I've got it, but mostly because I managed to line everything up right in the first place. On to Noppon Saengkham, who's got two reds safe against the side cushion, but manages to remove them off the green. This is a really precise shot, and I'll have to get really close to the blue in order to make the cannon here. And to do that, I'm using a small amount of right-hand side and backspin, but I've just realised that the right-hand side isn't helping me, because that's narrowing the angle that I've got to hit the reds, and means I've got to get closer to the blue in order to get it right. And if I can finally pot this green and just play it as a regular stun shot, I've got a good chance of getting it. And I have, and I'm just about in position on the red. We've got to be quick with this next one because it's at the shootout, and Oliver Lines needs to pot this long red to stay in the tournament and score a further 12 points. Despite potting this long red and the following black, unfortunately he rests up against the pink, which means he ends up losing the match to Mark Allen, who goes on to win the tournament himself. Digging down like this, the shot requires a huge amount of accuracy, but I am getting closer, and I've managed to pot it a lot quicker than I expected, really. This next shot from Judd Trump's actually a little bit risky because the frame hadn't yet been won. Despite this, he pots the brown and screws the cue ball down the table between the pink and black and gets back for the red, which he needs to win the match. Although he was probably feeling fairly confident with this one being 2-0 up already. I've got the perfect line on my first shot here, but I don't think my table is fast enough. Even though I'm perfectly on the red, this is about as hard as I can hit it. Effectively, Mark Allen's just potting the black here, but I was really impressed with the amount of topspin he was able to get on the cue ball, which ends up spinning it into the middle pocket. I was wondering if I was able to do the same thing, although it's going to take a few shots to get anywhere near the middle, presumably. And I just think Mark was trying to get a lot of topspin on the cue ball, not necessarily going off, so I need to get a little bit lucky and get the topspin right, and somehow that's all happened at once. Really good. Over in China, Mark Selby just goes for the straight double with the last black here, and it goes straight into the yellow pocket. There's not too much to this, it's just a very accurate shot. So how accurately can I play it? That was close. In fact, I can't believe it didn't go in. I've got to try playing the same shot again, and because there's a little hole in my black spot, it made it jump. The third time though was good. Way back in the English Open, right at the beginning of the season, Judd Trump's run out of position on the yellow, so he simply doubles it the length of the table. This is an impressive shot, and the fact that the can on the brown drops him nicely on the green looks good as well. Judging the angle for this double is definitely a lot harder, but I'm getting pretty close already, so surely it's only a matter of time, unless I play the shot like that, before I get one of these right. However, they just don't seem to be dropping in for some reason. With this one, all I can really do is have a bit of a guess at where the pocket is, and hopefully I'm lucky enough to get away with it. But which of these was the cheekiest double? Cue the music. Mark's shot's good, but pretty basic, so only gets 2, whereas Judd's shot has a lot more attitude, so it gets 4 and is this week's winner. Luca Brecel's red here is actually pretty straightforward, but because it's straight, position is actually going to be a bit of a problem. That is, unless you can screw back the whole length of the table. Even using the magic cue ball, I doubt I can get back this far, but I'm willing to give it a try. And the first thing I'm going to have to do is hit it straight enough. Just because the red's over the pocket here doesn't necessarily mean I'm guaranteed to hit it in a straight line, and that's what I've got to do if I want it to work. Although I definitely should be potting this one, and I finally have, and I've hit it about as well as I possibly can, and that's as far as I can make it screw back. This exhibition shot from Judd Trump is becoming a bit of a classic, where you pot the pink into the middle pocket and spin the cue ball around 7 cushions to get back on the black. Understandably, on my table that isn't anywhere near as fast as what you see on TV, it's going to be a little bit of a problem, because even if I hit it absolutely perfectly at full power, it's not guaranteed to get anywhere near back to the black. Because of all of that, for me on this table, it's one of the hardest shots I've got to play. I've got to absolutely power the pink in the middle pocket, hopefully it stays in, and somehow avoid all the jaws hitting it hard enough. And I should point out at this time, unfortunately I had a little bit of a cold this week, and that's why I sound a little bit terrible, but hopefully it's not getting in the way too much. I finally got the shot about as hard as I could possibly play it, but I'm only back to the side cushion. Although I have managed to pot it from here and nearly played the Mark Allen shot again. An interesting one from Shaun Murphy now, because I don't think I've ever seen anybody get on the yellow in quite this way before. And it's going to be interesting to see if I can hit the first side cushion, the second side cushion, and then have enough speed off the bulk cushion to get out past the bulk line. This might be a problem, as you've just seen, because I'm having to deal with a tiny divot in my black spot, which means it causes the black to jump up in the air a little bit when I hit it hard. I've got to hit it really hard to do this, but I've also got to hit it really hard to play this shot, and that's why the black keeps jumping off the table. I'm not sure if I can hit it hard enough and keep the black in the pocket, but I've done that and just crept past the bulk line. We've got another Ronnie O'Sullivan shot coming up right after we find Jacob, who's from Rockford, Illinois, which is there. Despite being a long way out of position on the pink, Ronnie O'Sullivan still manages to pot it and find a way around the table that gets him back to the black. It looks like I'm going to have to get the cue ball incredibly close to the corner pocket here in order to get the right angle. My first attempt on this shot looks pretty good, although I haven't quite got close enough to that corner pocket, which meant I've just dropped the wrong side of the black. It was perfect in position, but I'm trying to get on the other side, so I'm going to have to try again, and I'm struggling to get any closer to the corner pocket, which is going to allow me to have the right angle to get the right side of the black, but at the same time I'm probably also going to have to hit this shot a little bit harder than I have before. I think I've just about got it right with this one, and in fact, yes, I have just dropped on the black. Back in the British Open, Robbie Williams was able to completely dismantle John Higgins, and during that match he played a lot of good shots, the best of which was probably this one, where he pots the brown and dislodges the red away from the black. The cannon goes absolutely perfectly, but it's a really good pot and a really good shot to get anywhere near the cannon. Even though my first attempt made it look like a natural angle, unfortunately I cannoned the black in the way of the red, so I'm going to have to try it again. And although I potted the brown on my second attempt as well, I've ended up coming way too thin down the table and got nowhere near the red. So I'm going to have to pot this brown again and try and find a better line, or at least a line that gets me a cannon that opens up the red and black. This looks a little bit better, but unfortunately I'm just a tiny bit wide. Over this amount of distance you can't really judge this accurately, but I think I've got this one, and I'm in position on the red. Once again this week I'm letting you vote for the winner, and I'll put the link in the description, and hopefully remember to do it this week, because for the first 5 minutes last week's video was up, I completely forgot. But if you missed those videos, they're right here. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.